So it's all about being aware, and which is going to help you to be more powerful, and you can take over and control this tool. That's all goes this foundational level for me.
Okay. So it's also important. It's important to understand the foundations to be able to make sure that we can stay in control of the AI.
Exactly, is to get the best out of it.
Yeah.
Let's talk in this way. So if you know actually how it works, if you know how to use it in an effective way, you're going to benefit out of it. And whenever you don't know something, you are
Hmm.
getting more scared. You're getting this
Yeah.
fear of what's going to happen, what it's going to do. But
Uh-huh.
if you really know what it does on the cornerstone in a system manner, you feel more powerful. Honestly, let's say you feel more safe when you're interacting with AI.
Welcome to Women Disrupting Tech. My name is Dirk Jan Upkes, and on this podcast, I give the women who work in tech the platform they need to inspire and empower each other. Join me on a journey into the world of entrepreneurship, funding, biases, and role models to discover the strategies for success in the tech industry. In other words, how women can disrupt tech. Are you ready to listen? Hey, welcome back to Women Disrupting Tech. Thank you for listening to episode 47. Last week in episode 46, I spoke to Mariam Miradi and we learned how artificial intelligence can act as a catalyst for gender equality. Today, in the second part of the double header about artificial intelligence, we'll talk about how to apply AI in your business and more specifically, how your company can use AI to do the marketing. Don't worry, this is not just another Chat GPT or Midjourney workshop because AI can do much more interesting things than just generate copy and visuals for your website and social posts. So we'll dive in a lot deeper. Our guide on this journey today into the world of marketing in the age of AI is Liana Hakobyan. And Liana Hakobyan is a startup co founder, a LinkedIn top voice in content marketing, a TEDx speaker, and currently she's the head of marketing at PA Team, and that's a boutique automation consultancy company. Plus, she's about to launch her own AI and marketing business. On this Women Disrupting Tech episode, we'll explore Liana's own journey into the world of AI. We'll learn why everyone needs to understand how AI can help them in their business, and we'll discover how Liana can help startups use artificial intelligence in their marketing. So, when you're ready to listen and learn how to use artificial intelligence in the marketing in the age of AI, please welcome to Women Disrupting Tech, Liana Hakobyan. Hey, good morning, Liana. Good to have you on Women Disrupting Tech. Question I always ask at the beginning is how you got into your current job or how you got into your current position, and start wherever you want.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast. Really a pleasure to talk about AI in marketing and cover my own perspective about the topic.
Hmm.
So, in general, I was always interested in marketing, especially when I had my first startup. And after working for 3 years in my own startup at age 19, I really started to feel that my place is in tech and marketing. So I started to look around for another job opportunities in the market, more like international based. And I
Hmm.
found my current company, PA Team. So what we do, we provide automation and AI services for different enterprise level companies. And I do tech marketing there. I do management. I do lead generation there. So the way that I landed it is just more my passion towards finding the intersection of tech and marketing. And that's the way that I found a job, and the company culture matched the way I see also the innovation and technological advancement, and the way I started my path, let's say, at PA Team, my current company.
Okay. I want to switch a bit to further back into history because if I understand it correctly, you had your first robot at the age of 11. I was wondering how you got interested in tech, and if your parents actually well pushed you or at least positively influenced you on that.
Oh, it's very actually interesting story, and it's right that I got my first robot when I was very young,
Uh-huh.
and it was actually a gift for New Year from my parents. So how it started I'm actually from Armenia. And
Hmm.
in Armenia, it's interesting concept that whenever you are a kid, it's very important for you to know mathematics and also
Hmm.
chess.
Yeah.
No matter whether you are a woman or a male, it's lies in the culture in the country. And my parents were pushing me always to be good at mathematics. Wherever you go in your life, it's gonna push you. And I think that was kind of a connection after that I made also in tech. It just mathematics is all about curiosity, just finding out and solving the problems, and then it's really correlated to the tech. And I remember I landed this book, the autobiography of Steve Jobs, and I
Hmm.
started to reading it. And afterwards, I connected all these things that I learned when I was a kid about mathematics, about innovation, and I really found this curiosity towards tech. So it all started, I will say, from this book, honestly.
Okay. And also because yeah, Armenia, of course, has a pretty rich history when it comes to chess players.
Exactly. We have very many winners in the chess competitions.
Uh-huh.
And also, I don't know, you know this information, but maybe it's interesting to know as well. When you are a kid, I think uh, recently they made it a mandatory class, chess at school.
Oh,
Also, when I was a kid, I was passing like in a sport class at chess, and I was participating also in a chess competition. And no matter, again, I'm saying whether you were a female or a male, it was always like you were playing against each other.
yeah. Yeah, and I think it's also good because it teaches you mathematics. It also teaches you a lot of strategy.
Exactly. It teaches you to think more long
Yeah,
term,
yeah.
teaches you to not only consider the short term steps, but also long term steps. And as a child, it's actually a very entertaining
Hmm.
thing to do when you are a kid. Also, you can take your chess anywhere you go with your friends' place, and then you just play chess. Also, my father actually taught me how to play chess. So it's a thing actually in Armenia. So old
Yeah.
people will teach you how to play chess.
Okay. You're one part of one of the first generations that was raised in a environment without the internet being present, Gen Z. Uh, and I think technology is well, as you said, in your upbringing, it was already part of the mix. Uh, how do you see that? See that going forward? Do you think it will continue to play a big role in your lives?
I think it's like I will say foundation of all
Hmm.
the things that I do. No matter it work or a personal life, the technology plays a crucial role. And I can't imagine even living without, honestly, technology in terms of even starting from a small gadget and ending
Hmm.
with itself AI technology. So I'm
Hmm.
currently using it for my productivity, for my personal growth, and I really enjoy doing it so as well because it boosts basically all the areas in a faster way. Basically,
Hmm.
my skills, I feel like I'm increasing them more exponentially. So I really honestly, when I was growing up, I had all this technology around me, and it's so interesting because it makes you more curious towards life as well. What I feel like I was never like feeling like that's an enemy towards you. It was more like a personal supporting assistant. So that's
Okay.
how I grew up towards technology and my relationship, let's say.
Ah, okay. And then robots indeed will could play an important role in supporting people to do things.
Exactly.
Um, I want to talk a bit about the workplace because what you see in the workplace is that people like yourself are starting to work. Uh, what does that mean for older generations? How can they adapt?
So for me, the first thing, no matter considering, let's say, your generational group,
Huh?
you need to be adaptive and be open for learning new things. They keep always this continuous learning attitude. Let's say,
Mhm.
be always open for experimenting and testing new tools in the market.
Mhm.
That helps you to keep yourself up to date as a professional. So I personally, as an example, I have a manager.
Mhm.
Mike belongs to different generation than I am, and he's from Canada, but he's so open for learning from me, even like new things, new technology that I'm using, and for him it's very crucial to do so. And I feel like, of course, he is a bit struggling, for adapting, maybe in contrast. Uh, as I would adapt. But
Mhm.
when I see his passion, his interest, his curiosity, that makes me feel that if I grow up, I want to be like that as a manager as well, just to be
Mhm.
open to learn from younger generation about the new tech, and don't make myself these boundaries that I know everything in a good way and I don't need to consume more information. So I think, just to answer your question in a simple way, just
Mhm.
this continuous learning attitude towards anything you do in life.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's really important. That's also what made me do the podcast. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be to stay curious. Um, any others things that or maybe things that people in the older people would need to change if they want to make or if they want to make it a good place to work?
I would also say, so in terms of course, like adapting to technology is hard.
Hmm.
Depending on your also skill level, not only talking about generation, also if you're coming from different background, let's say, you still need to learn the tech. So what
Hmm.
I will suggest as a second thing, actually it's a very more creative approach, is try to add gamification into your everyday routine. Try to bring some kind of game elements when you are learning to adopt technology in your workspace or in your personal life. So
Hmm.
approach it in a very simple and level, let's say, growing level way. Say, okay, I learned this today, and then I'm going to stick to learning other thing next day, and feel like it's a long-term process. It's a growth, and then you are sticking and learning some small things in every way. But do
Hmm.
it like you are feeling like in a game. You're entertaining yourself as well.
Yeah, can you give an example of how to do that? How to gamify your learning process?
Absolutely. So one example that I can bring also, that I noticed in my previous company that I was working, is
Hmm.
that we added gamification in the onboarding process, or we added gamification. It's called citizen development, and
Hmm.
nowadays in tech terms, when, for example, you want to switch one employee to other area
Yeah.
in the company.
Hmm.
So what you essentially do, you can include VR or AR experiences in the learning process.
Yeah.
So a person is in a situation in which is, let's say, created by the company itself, and you have some special requirements, and you need to overcome some obstacles which are fake. Yeah, so
Hmm.
it's a fake environment created, which actually stimulates your learning process and at the same time makes you more engaging. So this is
Hmm.
one example of a gamification that you can bring in the onboarding, and also when you are doing citizen development in a company.
Yeah. So basically, to let people play. Let's say, would that be a sort of role play then?
Yeah, exactly. Like a stimulation. Let's say you are
Yeah.
in this simulation, and then you are being in an environment that is created specifically for one problem solving.
Yeah. It's a
Uh-huh.
safe space
Exactly. And then you
because
feel.
it's yeah
Mhm.
it's and if you can even do play that on a regular computer, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
hmm There are
But
special companies actually specialized in providing VR or AR for employment purposes or for onboarding purposes. So that's actually a nice thing to go for, to do research if you are, for example, HR and you want to integrate into your company.
okay, well,
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, I'm working with a company who does that actually,
Oh,
but then
yeah.
on the more on the educational part
Oh, that's
of the spectrum. Anyways, I want to switch to AI. Let's say the main course of this dinner, of this breakfast, because we're recording it in the morning. Um, So for Gen Z, it's sort of yeah, it comes natural because you're raised in a world where tech is a abundant and b it's part of your life. But why is it important for people from my generation? I'm 51. Why is it important for me to understand the importance and also the application of AI?
To talk like in a global scale,
Hmm.
so AI is going to influence the society in
Yeah.
general, starting from the educational system, being as a powerful consumer as well. So it's going to tackle actually every area of your life.
Hmm.
So it's important to be informed about how it does it, and it's important to understand the high level how it works,
Hmm.
because you will notice on a lot of like a consumer journeys nowadays on the website you will interact with AI, and as a person you want to really be aware both pros and cons, and also how to use, because there are a lot of privacy and data regulation issues
Uh-huh.
currently we are facing with AI. And you also, as a person who is working in a company, needs to understand what data to provide to AI and what data you should not provide to AI, let's
Hmm.
say. So it's all about being aware, and which is going to help you to be more powerful and you can take over and control this tool. That's all goes this foundational level for me.
Okay. So it's also important. It's important to understand the foundations to be able to make sure that we can stay in control of the AI.
Exactly, is to get the best out of it.
Yeah.
Let's talk in this way. So, if you know actually how it works, if you know how to use it in an effective way, you're going to benefit out of it. And whenever you don't know something, you're
Hmm.
getting more scared. You're getting this
Yeah.
fear of what's going to happen, what it's going to do. But
Uh-huh.
if you really know what it does on the cornerstone in a system manner, you feel more powerful, honestly. Let's say you feel more safe when you're interacting with AI.
Do you see that as a gap between generations?
um, I can see not only in generations, honestly, I can see also in my generation a gap between
Hmm.
AI. So I was recently talking with a company that is
Hmm.
providing AI services, and they create a personalized model
Yeah.
for companies that are coming. And because in the companies, the managers don't know actually a lot about AI, they can charge a lot of money. And this talks about the knowledge gap that we
Yeah.
have in the market, and it's not only connected to your older generation or younger generation. It's just a matter of whether you know AI.
Yeah.
And this knowledge gap exists in the market because also AI, if we were talking this before, that
Hmm.
AI is evolving quite fast.
Yeah.
AI is developing itself very fast, so you want to really keep track of your own skill set,
Hmm.
but at the same time it's hard.
Yeah.
That's the reason this knowledge gap is increasing more. So to answer to your question, yeah, there is a knowledge gap, but it doesn't really matter based on generation. It's just a matter of it as a specialist yourself.
Yeah. And then it becomes important to for let's say the managers to also have a baseline understanding
Yeah,
of AI.
I really encourage everyone to know high level about AI. No one
Hmm.
tells to know like a technical aspect how it works. Personally, me, I'm coming from a data science background as well. When I
Hmm.
was at the university, I was taking data classes.
Uh-huh.
So that helped me to understand AI in a better manner. Even I'm
Yeah.
not telling myself that I'm a professional senior data analyst, but as I have some foundations there and I understand the divisions between AI, how there is a semi-structured, structured, and other models of AI as well. So
Hmm.
this gives me foundation to do my own research, keep up to date what's going on, and learn
Yeah.
more about AI.
So it's again feeds into your ability to continuously learn.
Mhm.
Um, Want to sidestep a bit because you're also LinkedIn top voice on content marketing. Does that help, or can AI help in doing content marketing?
This is my favorite, honestly, like a topic to discuss.
Uh,
So because now also I'm giving some lectures about AI in marketing in a special university.
uh-huh.
So, and I always talk about this, how AI is crucial for now
Hmm.
for content marketing. First of all, I want to introduce people who don't know this term, one-to-one personalized marketing.
Yeah.
So what AI essentially is going to help us to do personalize our consumers experience on a scale based. And this is a very revolutionary and beneficial process for our service or product providing.
Yeah.
Essentially, personalization, more data driven decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Even though automation is already there and we are making more decisions based on data, AI is leveling up and making it smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Not only personalization, but also understanding who is your target audience, who is the right person to target, and to work with this consumer to really give them the value of your product in a tailored manner. That's the most important part of the content. One thing example which I want to bring you is that so there are tools. Now,
Yeah.
one is Optimonk AI. What it helps you to do, you imagine you have like only three audiences,
Uh-huh.
and you want to target. You don't have resources to write three different blogs to these three audiences.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do, you can write one blog. You can have variables as a keywords to change whenever which audience is coming to your blog.
Yeah.
So imagine if you are looking for ways to increase your productivity as a tech person, as a
Mm-hmm.
marketing person, and as a finance person, this
Mm-hmm.
blog will just customize based on your as who you are, but it's still one blog. So you don't spend as a marketer a lot of resources to create this content.
So it's also a matter of repurposing the content that you write.
Exactly. Also, you can have pop-ups
Huh?
specifically for some audience. For example, you know that finance people who are coming to your website
Huh?
are more likely to convert to our website.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do, we will just give a pop-up of discount for this audience because we are getting out the most out of this audience. Or we can just diversify, say, one offering customized for finance, one offering customized for tech people. And pop-up is going to bring different messaging to different audiences. But again,
Yeah.
the same design, so you don't need to work really hard on creating multiple versions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a sort of if statement.
Exactly.
So if
Mhm.
if audience is finance, then display this pop-up.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's a lot of automation that goes into it that makes things more scalable, if I hear you correctly. It also allows you to write a blog once and not three separate blogs. So, are there what other tools are there out there that for instance, also startups can use to attract customers and to convert them?
One thing which I actually highlight always is that
Hmm?
nowadays you can see a lot of tools out
Hmm?
there related to AI.
Yeah.
I was doing a research just to find even how to generate, yeah, let's say, a vision statement and mission statement for your own
Hmm?
company. And I found just five tools that are focused only providing this service.
Yeah, and that's on top of the co-pilots and chat
Exactly.
GPTs
Yeah.
of this world.
Yeah. One skill that I think a marketeer in
Hmm?
this new age of AI, personalized marketing, needs to own is to understand, differentiate which tools is the best for them to use based on their resources.
Yeah.
There are really a lot of tools that I can suggest, starting from the content generation, video generation. Recently, I was exploring presentation generation,
Hmm?
Beautiful.ai. That's the name of the tool. What do? You just write a prompt and it generates for you a slide. And then you
Hmm?
can work on improving the slide more. There are tools like ranging from video generation. You know already that
Hmm?
people are sharing enthusiastically, and people you can see two type of audiences. People are really scared of all these tools, and people are really enthusiastic
Yeah,
of all
yeah,
these tools. So there is no middle ground
yeah.
sometimes. There are different tools. So in marketing, we have T-shaped
Hmm?
functionality, and T-shape has different categories for marketing segments. Let's say
Hmm?
content marketing, advertising, and then SEO. So any tool nowadays exists for each segment.
Hmm?
So there is a AI advertising also that optimizes for you your message, your poster.
Hmm?
There is Ellison.ai. What Ellison.ai does, essentially it helps you to measure your creativity. What I mean by saying that,
Mm-hmm.
so you it can help you to understand what color to use in your poster. You know, we always have as a marketeer this problem that, oh, let's use the red, but
Uh-huh.
why?
Yeah.
Oh, let's use
Yeah.
this
Red
person.
buttons convert better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right. Let's use this person.
Yeah.
Let's use male, let's use female, but why we need to use, because
Yeah.
someone thinks someone that it's going to work in a
Yeah.
team. But what does this tool help you to do is actually to get the data as a proof why you need to use red, why you need to use this font on the poster, why you need to use this video, this voice. So it gets these all
Ah.
elements of the, let's say, a poster or a video, and it helps you analyze it. And it does analyzing by advertising data mostly that you have, or also it helps you to get a more like a best working things, like best practices, and
Hmm.
then suggest you can do this because your industry is getting good things out of doing these things.
Yeah. Um, if there were free tools that we're going to talk in a bit about your launching your own company, let's say I would limit you to free tools that you could use. Which ones would they be and why?
Oh, this is very interesting thing. So, but I think these tools will just be dependent on what I'm doing
Huh?
for now. So first, I'm really working on my content. So
Hmm?
I will select one tool, which is a content generation. I will say Jasper. Jasper, yeah, that AI is one of the top AI funded companies, honestly,
Hmm?
and the quality is really good. I tried 30 content generating tools, and out of that, so far, I really like Jasper.
Hmm?
So that for content. Second, I will say I will use image generation mostly for creating the banners, and Midjourney so far is doing a great job on this. I will so focus on that. And the third tool I will say that I use, I really like this approach of personalization, real
Hmm?
time personalization. And I explored this tool, which I talked already about, OptiMonk AI, and I
Hmm?
will stick to that third one. But honestly, now I even created a big database of the tools that I tested out,
Hmm?
so I can suggest anything based on your task that you are doing. So anything depends on what you really want to get out of AI tool.
Yeah. Well, that's obviously the case.
Hmm.
Um, so let's go to your business because you're about to launch a business that focuses on AI and marketing. What are the most effective ways that startups and small businesses can integrate AI into their marketing strategies, and especially focus on the ones with the limited resources? So we talked about Jasper. Is that a free tool?
No, it's not a free tool.
Okay.
It's a paid one. But how actually this idea came that I wanted to help other companies
Hmm.
is that personally, me, I'm working as one marketeer in a company. We of course we work with content writers who are we are outsourcing, and also video editor that we are outsourcing. But
Hmm.
I had this idea that I'm doing a lot of things at the same time, and I want to do more with less. So that was always the approach that I had, and that's why it came up that I can use the tools to help me with this. I don't
Yeah.
really need to do it all by myself. I just need to optimize the processes in the right way. So after that, I decided to help others, small businesses and also startups, because they mostly have a small marketing teams,
Yeah.
or they don't have a marketing team. That's
No.
also crucial to know. So there are free tools, but one thing which I want to tell you that I'm doing personally is that I'm auditing this tool, I'm testing them, and then I'm exploring the privacy regulations of these tools. I had a call with one of my instructors who is actually
Hmm.
specialized in AI,
Hmm.
and he told me that a lot of tools in the market which are small, he thinks that are just gonna don't exist in 2 years. And he said to me, as an advice, Liana, like focus on tools that are in GBT marketplace. They are more credible. They are more, let's say, going to stick for a longer time. So try
Hmm.
to learn more about them and try to suggest people these tools which are more efficient and
And why
already.
GPT?
it's a GPT marketplace,
Yeah.
because what he believes, of course, he did more research than anyone
Mm.
else, I think. He went and explored all these regulations, all these data things that are happening, and also he checked the roadmap where GPT goes. So he really wants to invest on something that is more long term.
Hmm.
As a professional, I want to reach out to other marketeers and provide all the knowledge that I generated, I gathered. And also, as a small and medium business and startup, what you essentially need to do when you want to integrate AI is to see it as optimizing your processes. So you need to have this bigger picture of
Yeah.
what you are doing and how you can integrate in small, small, small things. And overall, you can see the vision of AI in your company. So always have a strategy.
Yeah.
Always, if you put AI, I'm going to use AI for what? Why you're using it? What do you want to get out of AI? Because there are a lot of things that now you can do without AI. You can
Mm.
do with just having automation in this
Hmm.
space. So that's what also I tell people, because my company provides automation and AI. I talk with a lot of also people that come, they don't understand what they need. So first, just figure out what you really need, which processes you wanna actually automate, and there I'm also coming. So I'm sitting with companies and then exploring the right processes to start with.
Yeah. And do I hear you say then that if you start using AI for, let's say, marketing, that it needs to be part of an AI strategy rather than part of a marketing strategy that uses AI?
So I will say if you're a small company,
Yeah.
definitely you just need to have AI strategy and say, okay, from AI strategy, I'm using for marketing this tool.
Yeah.
But if you are a bigger company, I would of course suggest you just to specialize in marketing AI things going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
But
that's
then
your
still starting with the AI, not from the marketing.
exactly. I would
Okay.
say also one thing to know. More like start with the process that you think. Start with your internal audit. Start with which process in a company you want to automate, and then
Hmm.
go back to AI.
Ah, okay. So
Like
really
that way
start at
more.
the
Yeah.
foundation of your company, and then look where you can apply AI, and based on that, choose the well the applications that you
Yes.
can
So
use.
yeah, you are at this is the right point. So don't go AI and say, oh, just let's use AI. It's
Yeah.
a wrong mentality to have.
Hmm.
The methodology is always like check your systems, check your
Hmm.
processes, see what you want to start with. In marketing, you want to start this, and then go and then start with the AI generate a strategy to integrate into your marketing. So that's the way to go forward.
Okay. And then the sort of the flags that should go up that would trigger that AI could be a solution
Mhm.
is I want to optimize, I want to automate, I want data-driven decisions. I think that's very important because that's the I think also the power of AI, if I hear you correctly.
That this is all great things that you are mentioning. Exactly. How do you can do essentially fast uh, and simple processes in your company.
Yeah.
So, and then it talks all about your mentioned things, data, and how to do it in a more efficient manner.
Okay. And what you do with your company is you sit down with entrepreneurs, with startups, with small or no marketing team
Mhm.
to guide them through that process.
Yeah. So now, what is seen in statistical way that
Hmm.
marketers struggle with three things when it comes to AI.
Hmm.
First, knowledge. So they are not aware of how AI works and what is AI all about.
Hmm.
Secondly, they are scared about the privacy regulations, and
Yeah.
third one is more related to the cost. So some marketers think that it's really costly to use AI. So that's where I'm coming to show that first, I can train you, I can teach you how to use it. You don't need to be scared about these
Hmm.
tools, and you don't need to have a lot of tools.
No.
You just have to have specific, tailored made tools for your resources. And privacy things I'm checking for you. So you don't need to go there, waste your time, and try to understand all this. You can just rely on me. And then the third point is cost. So I'm really understanding the company, which level they are, which tools are more convenient for them to use. Because I also suggest people, if they have ability, to have their own models trained in their own companies. So I
Yeah.
connect also to companies that AI companies that they can create for them AI internally.
Okay. And that's useful, especially on the long run.
Exactly, it's very useful. Also, it's more customized.
Yeah. Hey, let's double click for a small bit on the privacy aspect, because that's indeed where most people also in a broader scheme of things get really scared. It's not they understand the use. At least if I talk to people, they understand the use of AI, and they're like, yeah, it can bring a lot of good things, especially in healthcare. But what about my data? Is it safe? Is it what would you say to those people?
Uh, first thing, just go and read their terms and conditions. Any tool that you are using, just honestly read, and then you will see where this data goes.
Hmm?
And I can show you some tools that you should not use because they are really using a lot of data, and
Yeah.
some tools that are really safe in terms of data usage. So it's all matters that you are aware where your data goes, and then you can have a control over this. But again, as I mentioned before, for example, at big companies,
Hmm?
like for example Snap, I know
Hmm?
that they restrict, for example, using GPT,
Hmm?
ChatGPT in my company as well.
Yeah.
So we got like, don't use ChatGPT because maybe you are giving some data that are not reliable. Let's say you should not let it. So we created our internal GPT system actually.
Hmm?
So we are running that on our own data. So that's actually a very interesting thing. So in our company, we have this GPT that is trained on our own database, and then I can go in GPT and say, can you find for me this document that is in our database? And it finds for me and gives it to me exactly this document. So this is a more safe approach how companies can approach AI if
Hmm?
they don't want to, of course, their employees go and use all these tools that are outside of the privacy regulations of of the company.
Hmm? Okay. So it's also about indeed how much data a tool collects, but also how much data you put into it. Because ChatGPT is actually a quite famous example, because I think half the financial world has now banned it,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
interesting because they fund it anyway. That's a different discussion for a different podcast altogether, I think. But um, yeah, are there specific points that you would look for in terms and conditions on data use? When is it overusing? When is it sort of okayish? How do you find that balance?
Mhm. So essentially, what is important to understand when you are checking the terms and conditions is that if you provide this data, how long they are going to keep this data as well.
Yeah.
Like if you are using, for example, there was one company which I really admired them. I didn't use their service for a long time, like
Hmm?
let's say for a year, and they wrote me back said we are deleting all your data because you were not using anymore our platform. And
Hmm?
are you okay that we delayed it? Or if you still want to keep going for using our tool, you're more
Oh,
than welcome to save it.
yeah.
I was really admired. I have never seen a company does this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's very good. If
Yeah,
you
and
if they actually warn you up front, we're going to delete your data.
yeah, so that's one thing that I'm admiring in companies that you see when if I provide the data, I have still ability to control it. I can
Hmm?
download the data. I know which data I gave it, and then I am able to manage my data. So
Hmm?
that's the things that I'm. But this deleting part of this company that I had this experience as a
Hmm?
consumer, as a user of the platform, made me really rely on this company, made me say, okay, I'm still gonna keep using this tool. Even if I didn't use for a 1 year, I went back and I started to more analyze the tool.
Yeah. So it's also a way to build trust.
Exactly. It's the most, I think it's nowadays the foundation because with AI, as we talked also, it's scary, right? You are
Hmm?
fearing. So you need
Yeah.
really to create this trust towards your product and also the consumer.
Yeah. And upfront, but also in the
Mm,
execution part of it.
mm,
Yeah. I want to move towards the end. Also mindful of your time. I have an arrangement with Jacqueline van der Ende. She's a previous guest on the podcast, and she asked me to make this podcast obsolete in by 2032. And I was wondering if you have any advice how to get there, what to
Uh,
do.
this sounds a very interesting question, actually. Um, and you already have exact date as well, so
Yeah,
it's kind of a to-do thing.
yeah,
Um, And so I was thinking about this idea, and I wanted to kind of bring my own experience.
uh-huh.
To show a more practical way, because I
Yeah,
think everyone has their own idea of diversity, and everyone had their own interactions with equality and diversity in the workspaces, especially in the tech.
yeah,
So I really understood whenever I was embracing diversity, and whenever as a professional you are really playing as a benefit your diversity, you are benefiting more. And let me tell you such an examples. So
hmm,
I was presenting one time in this public speaking space. It was a conference, and they were mostly male or male people.
yeah,
And I saw one person was presenting, and he put his hand on his pocket, and I was also presenting, and I think I was the only girl that was presenting that day. And I was like, okay, I want to merge to this audience. You know what?
hmm,
I will put my my hand in the pocket as
yeah,
well. So after I did that, one person that I knew came to me and was like, Liana, what are you doing? You are not authentic to yourself. This is not the way you will present you, because you are more like this. Nice personality, and you have different way of speaking, more
hmm,
like presenting more my power of female, let's say.
yeah,
And the next time I had this session from a Harvard University woman,
uh-huh,
and she told me always embrace your femininity and then your diversity in a workspace. And currently I'm having a lot of discussions, a lot of places that I'm involved, that they are mostly old male representatives,
uh-huh,
and I'm the only let's say young girl.
yeah,
And they actually like me, they really like me when I'm talking. They always give me attention, they always give me space when I'm being authentic to myself. I'm telling you what I feel, what I think from my own perspective.
yeah,
And whenever I'm embracing this thing as a specialist, that I'm diverse, I'm different, and I want to bring this difference to the workspace in tech, and it helps. I think that's the place that I really see this topic kind of merging, and then you're kind of stopping to have this podcast. But also, one just idea to mention here: I was growing up in a society in Armenia where um, I saw like a 50-60% in my university
yeah.
in IT were female. And also, yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
that interesting? I was just earlier this week, previous podcast. I was talking to Maria Miradi. She was born in Iran, and
hmm,
she told me exactly the same thing.
yeah, and
And I,
also,
I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm like, okay, so these are for us Western people.
yeah,
Uh, Here come some stereotypes. Eh?
yeah,
This is like really like, okay, these are really masculine societies where male dominated even worse than we are. Yet 50 to 60% of an IT class is female.
Oh, also, one statistics to bring,
Yeah,
according to Forbes, so in IT, 20% are female
yeah,
in the world,
huh?
less than 20%. In
Yeah.
Armenia, it's 30%.
Wow.
30% are of women are involved in of IT people are women. So it's so I was born in a society that, you
Yeah,
know, you are also again saying like this male oriented, male driven, patriarchal.
yeah,
It's called. Of course, I saw that. I know what when we say this, it's not like it's not there,
huh?
but it's very interesting because Armenia was part of the Soviet Union,
Yeah.
and then my grandma was from is from Soviet Union, and she was telling me she was working in a factory. She was
Hmm?
doing the same job as male people were doing.
Yeah.
She was just going there, very nicely put together with a makeup, just and doing the same thing, hard work as male. And then there was really equality. Honestly, it wasn't like you are a woman, you need to do this. They were both like my grandfather and my grandma were working in the factory at the same level, and then they were going home to their children at the end of the work. And at the end, also when I was studying at the university, I always saw girls are performing better,
Yeah.
always doing the best at school. You always had a voice to tell your opinion,
Mm-hmm.
especially in my university. You always can tell anything you think, even if it's against, instructor's opinion, who is a male professional, let's say. So
Mm-hmm.
it gave me a really empowerment as a woman who was born in Armenia. Just and I've never experienced honestly this inequality when I even work in my company, and I never noticed that towards me. Yeah.
Oh, so
So
there's actually a lot that we can learn from Armenians
yeah,
and maybe
it's
even from communism.
a bit maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there are bad things as well with
Yeah.
communists, but yeah. But the thing is that I had this conversation with my manager,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Yeah, if you don't mention that you are female, no." We are everyone equal in the meeting. No
Mm-hmm.
one brings up anything. You just share your opinion as a person, as a professional.
Yeah.
And he said like I had also he was a manager of a really big BPO, business process outsourcing company,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of women working uh, a lot under him.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, I never treated them differently. I just never brought up this idea that I just see them as a professional. I
Yeah.
work them as a specialist." So that I think that's the thing. Just also embracing that it's different, but also not differentiating. Let's say not emphasizing it a lot.
Okay, so the key is also in part to especially for men to not make a bigger thing out of it than strictly necessary.
Yeah, I think it's if it does, it's more natural,
Yeah,
and if everything is more natural and it's more balanced.
yeah,
So that all I felt from my own experience. Of course, people I can tell you as well. Of course, I talked with a lot of people who were facing a lot of issues in companies,
yeah,
being as a female, and their own experience is different. They will share a different idea.
yeah,
But as I'm coming from my own background, what I saw, what I bring, this is what I saw.
yeah. But that's
Yeah,
what makes you
yeah.
unique,
What? Yeah,
and
that's what's making.
also
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
diverse. What diversity is also about.
Hmm. Yeah.
Sounds like a great place to wrap.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liana Hakobyan, for this great interview. Really enjoyed it. Last question: where do you want to send people if they want to learn more about you, if they want to connect with you, or learn more about the company that you're about to enroll in the KVK?
Just to sum up, it was a great pleasure to talk to you as well. I will follow all your podcasts. I really admire your input in the field that you are making. You everyone can follow me on my LinkedIn. It's
Hmm?
Liana Hakobyan. I'm posting there mostly, and I'm more active there. Anyone who needs any help with AI and marketing can just text me. Soon
Hmm?
I'm gonna launch my own website, and I will announce that on my LinkedIn. So you can, as I mentioned, follow me out on LinkedIn, and I will help. I have some materials about AI and marketing on my website coming up. So you can follow me there.
Okay.
Anything happens on LinkedIn.
Okay. Good.
Yeah,
We'll
for
send you.
now.
We'll include the link to LinkedIn to your LinkedIn profile in the show notes. Once again, thank you very much for this wonderful conversation about marketing in the age of AI. And listeners, thank you very much for listening to this episode and hope to see you in the next episode. Well, that's it. Thank you for listening to this episode of Women Disrupting Tech about how to apply AI in your marketing with Liana Hakobyan. Liana and I hope that you've enjoyed our conversation as much as we did. And if you'd like to learn more and connect with Liana, please use the links in the show notes. As usual, you can find the show notes at womendisruptingtech.blog. There, you can also become a member of the Women Disrupting Tech community. And if you're a member, you get exclusive access to the Women Disrupting Tech events that we're about to organize. And you're the first to learn when new episodes and blogs come online. For your weekly dose of women disrupting tech inspiration, AI or otherwise, You can follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and Goodpods. And if you're a regular listener, would you please consider to give the show a rating or a review? Because that way you can help other people discover the podcast. Now, if you want to help Liana and other women in tech make this podcast obsolete by the end of 2032, there's a simple thing you can do. Please share the podcast with friends, family, and coworkers because this way you give Liana and my other guests the platform they need to make this podcast obsolete in 10 years. Finally, if you want to connect with me, you can reach out to me via email dirkjan at womendisruptingtech.blog, or you can reach out just like you can to Liana on LinkedIn. Just look up my name and you'll find me. With that, I wish you a wonderful day. I hope to see you in the next episode. And in the meantime, keep being awesome.